Alright everybody, welcome back into the kitchen. This is kind of the part 2 to that homemade pectin thing. I am now attempting to turn it and some of the 2016 powdered pain into a homemade pepper jelly because I miss having pepper jelly and it's a pretty good blend of peppers. So yeah, let's get started. This may or may not work. Who knows? Computer's done something else in the background, so we'll take that as a good sign. Yeah, it's a positive omen. Yeah, that's it. So basically to make this, we've got the powdered pain, 6 teaspoons of powdered pain, because basically it would be 6 jalapeno peppers, and for some random reason we went with 1 pepper equals, 1 teaspoon. I don't know. Give me a better math. I'll work with it. We got 3 cups of sugar. We've got our homemade pectin, roughly 12 ounces. And it calls for cider vinegar. Don't have that, so we went with half red wine vinegar and half regular white vinegar, because why not? So under normal circumstances, I'd puree the peppers with some of the vinegar and then, put it all together, but it's powdered peppers. So we're just going to let that rumble around in there, warm up, kind of get used to each other for a few minutes, and then we'll carry on with the sugar and pretend everything's normal. Now we're just going to mix in our 3 cups of sugar, and we want to bring this whole mess to a boil, always fun, and let it sit at that boil for about 10 minutes. This is not a good time to check Facebook. Keep stirring. Just saying. For a friend. Still just waiting for that to get to its initial boil, but I gotta say it kind of looks and smells a little scary at this point. That's kind of exciting. Alright, so here we have the beginning of our boil. Set the timer for 10 minutes. I hate the sound of this microwave. Alright, 10 minutes. Oh, that's just delightful. See all those flakes of peppers floating through all that? So now that that's been boiling for 10 minutes, we need to add our liquid pectin, which in this case is our homemade pectin. And I'll just grab my other hand from the camera there and scrape that all out. Now just mix this up, bring it back to a boil for 1 minute, and then, process like any other standard jelly. In theory, I've got lumps from my homemade pectin. Alright, well we'll work this through, and it's still got to get back to boiling, and it's going to be fine, right? It's going to be okay. Alright, so that is just starting to get back to a boil. 60 seconds on the screamer. Let's see. Well, that's certainly quite a color it's got at the moment. Now, normally we would jar and process this, but we're going to skip that because I didn't get canning materials. And we're going to put some of this into some Pyrex so we can check out its color as it sets, and the rest of it into a bowl for the fridge because it's not going to last that long anyway. So here we go. I've got some in a... Ooh, that bowl's already quite warm. Large metal bowl, so hopefully the heat will dissipate kind of quickly and we can put that in the fridge. And I've got some in a little glass Pyrex measuring cup here so we can kind of see the color. Not too bad. I'm kind of excited about that in a nervous kind of way. Now, while I probably shouldn't be trying this yet because it's still incredibly hot, I can't help but dip a cracker into it. So we'll give that a second to drip and I'll find out what I'm dealing with here. Yeah, 1 second. Nice kind of a drippy sort of sauce here at the moment. That is still uber hot though. Awkward moments in a YouTube household. Shocks just saw me flip my camera like viewfinder around with my mouth because my hands were both full. One's full of camera, one's full of cracker with uber hot molten joy on it. So here we go. That's going to be really good. Assuming it sets properly, that's going to be really good. And if it doesn't set properly, that's just going to be a pepper sauce. So it's a win-win either way. We'll check back on it later on in the video, tomorrow real time, see how it looks in the fridge. So here we are the next morning. I've just pulled my jelly out of the fridge. Certainly got a firm surface to it here. Maybe I should be using a spoon for this. But it looks like a pretty decent jelly to me. The real question is, how does it taste? I have to say, that is pretty good. It's got some bite, sticks together pretty well. I'll have to be trying both of these again in the future, using the powdered pain to make pepper jelly, and or using green apples to make pectin. I'm glad that worked out well, but at this point, I'm going to wrap things up and say thank you very much for joining me on this homemade powdered pain jelly from homemade pectin video, whatever I'm going to end up calling it by the time the editing is done. Have yourselves a fantastic day, everybody.